Now you may have noticed that as we've been grip editing these boxes and cylinders, not only do we see the two grip types, the standard square grips and the directional grips, but we also see this little icon here initially in the center of the object. Now this is known as the Gizmo, and the version we're seeing here is known as the Move Gizmo. Now, as you can see, it's an icon which has bars which represent the X, the Y and the Z axes. And the nice thing about this is that it allows us to move the object but constrain movement in any one of those three directions. Now we can obviously we can use the grip at the center of the box here to move the object in any direction we like in the XY plane, but the Gizmo allows us to constrain movement in any one of three directions. It works like this. Say I want to constrain movement in just the X direction. What I do is I hover my cursor over the X bar and it turns yellow. When that happens, I click to fix that, and any movement now is constrained in the X direction only. And I can pick a point to fix the position for the new object, or I can enter a value. I'm just going to pick a point. Same is true in the Y direction. If I hover over the Y bar, it turns yellow, and I click to select, and once again I can constrain movement in the Y direction. Now obviously those movements could be done using the middle grip, but the Move Gizmo also allows me to move the object in the Z direction, up or down. Once again, if I hover over that, it turns yellow. I click when that happens, and now I can move the object up or down through the ground plane, and once again I can pick a point to fix that, or I can enter a value. Otherwise, if I know exactly how high that needs to be. I'm just going to undo that now to bring that back down. Now, in addition to being able to use the Move Gizmo to move our object in one of the three directions, X, Y and Z, we can also use it to constrain movement in any one of the three planes, the XY plane, the YZ plane and the XZ plane. You'll notice that in addition to the three bars that we have on our Gizmo icon here, there are three little plane icons between any pair of bars. Now, if I hover over the object, you'll see that as I move around, I can highlight any of those three planes like that. So if I want to constrain the movement in the XZ plane, for example, I wait until I've got that highlighted in yellow there, and then click to fix that. And now my movement is constrained in that plane, like so. Okay, I'm going to just escape now to deselect that, and then undo to go back to where I was before. Now, so far we've just been looking at the Move Gizmo and demonstrating how we can constrain movement in the X, Y or Z direction, or in either of the three plane directions also. But the Move Gizmo is not the only gizmo we have access to. By default, that's what we see when we select an object, and that's because in the sub-object panel of the Home tab of the ribbon, Move Gizmo is highlighted here. If we click on the down arrow there, though, you can see that we can have also a Rotate Gizmo and a Scale Gizmo, or we can suppress the gizmo from displaying at all using the No Gizmo option. Let's just see what happens when I select Rotate Gizmo. You'll see that the gizmo at the center point there changes. The icon now looks like a sort of sphere, and there are three rings around that sphere, one for each of the three axes. And if you remember that X is red and Y is green and Z is blue, this will help you to understand how this gizmo works. Now, if I want to rotate my box around the Z axis, or about the Z axis, all I need to do is to hover over the Z ring, which is blue. It turns yellow once I've hovered over it, and the axis is indicated in blue, so that to give me an idea of the direction of rotation. If I'm happy with that, I can just click to fix that, and now I can rotate that object around that axis. And notice that I've got my polar tracking turned on here, so I can snap at 90-degree angles, or increments rather. And obviously if you wanted to snap at 45-degree increments or whatever, you could set that using your polar tracking. I'm just going to click now to fix that rotation by 90 degrees. And obviously if I wanted to rotate in other directions, I can do that also. So if I want to rotate about the x-axis here, I can hover over the X ring, click when it turns yellow, and once again I can rotate as required, and I can rotate by any arbitrary angle, or I can snap to 90 degrees like so and click to fix that like that. So that's the rotate gizmo, and the third of the three is the scale gizmo. Selecting that changes the gizmo at the center of the box to the scale gizmo. It looks a little bit like the move gizmo, but ever so slightly different. The scale gizmo allows me to scale this box in one particular direction or in one particular plane. If I select this Z-axis, you can see I'm being prompted here that only uniform scale is allowed for this object. If I click that, you'll see that my scaling is done uniformly like that. Not all objects can be scaled in any one particular direction, and in this case we're only able to scale this uniformly. And if I ever wanted to remove this gizmo altogether, I can use this option to turn the gizmo off, like so. Or I can go back to my move gizmo, for example, and say I want to continue editing that by moving it up in the Z direction. I can do that also.